Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you are a new subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing. If you're not, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I release videos once or twice a week, usually twice a week, covering a wide variety of topics. So today we are going to be talking about the much dreaded bar exam. I have a huge following here, thank you very much, of people who are in law school, or people trying to go to law school, or folks who just graduated law school and they're still trying to figure themselves out and figure out what they're going to do. And I've been getting a few comments with regard to the bar exam and life after law school. So as part of my law school and legal career series, I am doing a video today about how to study for the bar exam, how to ace the bar exam. Just some background information about me. I am an attorney, as you guys know, and I practice in New York. I live in Jersey. I am not licensed to practice law in Jersey because I decided to take the bar exam just once. I refuse to do it again. It's against my religion, it's against my personal beliefs, but you never know. I am at the point where if I do want to practice in another state, I can waive it. So I have some expertise in the area, if you will. That's what I'm going to share with you guys today. I was lucky enough to take the bar exam just once in the summer, in summer 2012. Yes. Summer 2012, and I was blessed that I was able to pass it just that one time. Unfortunately, that's not the reality for a lot of people, but I feel like there's nothing special about me. I mean, I did graduate with a summa cum laude in undergrad, but I'm not the smartest person in the bunch. I am not the most intelligent, I'm not the most brilliant, I'm not the most articulate. I'm okay, I'm good with what I'm working with. I'm not trying to oversell myself or undersell myself. I'm just saying that if I can do it, so can you. So today I'll be sharing with you a couple of strategies and tips that would help you ace the bar exam. First tip for you is to invest in a good bar prep program. I used Barbary, and this is not a sponsored video at all. I used Barbary for my bar prep. I also use them for my MPRE prep as well. Barbary is very expensive. It's about $4,000. I couldn't afford that. What did I do? I became a Barbary rep in my second year of law school. I should have been able to do it in my first year of law school had I known, but I wasn't privy to that information because there was nobody in YouTube to tell me that, or there was no one in my community who gave me that information. I kind of stumbled upon it myself. So in my second year of law school, I devoted 2 hours every Thursday to work at the Barbary table, get people to come in to sign for Barbary, and give them materials for the bar exam or for the MPRE. So MPRE is multi-state professional responsibility exam. It's an ancillary part of the bar exam which you need to pass before you take the bar exam. It's kind of like a qualification, I think. I'm not quite sure that you can take it simultaneously, but I know you have to take it before, and it just basically teaches you ethics. But anyway, Barbary covers prep for that as well. So I used Barbary, and I used Barbary for my bar prep. Loud neighbors. Anyway, some people use Kaplan, some people use Peeper. Hey, whatever floats your boat. I would just advise you to do your research. Don't go based on price, because there are certain things you can cut the price. Jesus. So there are certain areas in life where you can cut down the price with regard to trying to get more bang for your buck or trying to be cheap. I get it. But for bar prep, no, that's not the avenue for trying to cut down on expenses. If you're not able to pay for a bar prep program, then I advise you to try to be a sales rep as I was. My service as a bar prep rep helped pay for my bar prep program. Don't go to a cheap program just because it's cheap, because there's a reason why it's cheap. They don't have the resources, they haven't done the amount of research that the other programs have done, and they also probably don't have the high bar passage rate that the other programs have. So do your research and invest in a very good bar prep program, and try to figure out ways you can cut costs with regard to payment just for that program. But also don't go to a program just because it's cheap. Go to a results-based program. I liked Barbary. Not only was I a rep, but I also did my research, and at that time, and I still stand by it today, it was the best bar prep program out there. So do the math, do the research, and find out what works for you. Second thing I'll tell you to do is to have a strict schedule. I know it's going to seem as though it's forever, but it's not. It's a period of 8 weeks, maybe 10 weeks, in which you have to focus. Have a strict schedule. A lot of people, said, oh, I'm just going to sit at home, I'll wake up later, do 1 or 2 courses, blah, blah, blah. No. That's not what worked for me, and that's not what worked for my friends. I got up in the morning at 7 o'clock, I went running, I came back home, showered, I made it to class for 9 o'clock. Now technically it's not a class because it's a video recording of someone teaching you a course, but it was being played in my law school, and we went to class with 120 people who we sat down together, took the notes, made outlines while the class was going on. 10-minute break here, 20 minutes break here. Very, very strict regimented schedule. And then after that I had lunch. After lunch I came back and I outlined my notes that I took during the prep course program. And then after that I answered essay questions, went home, had dinner, continued studying. So I had a very regimented schedule, and I think that's the best thing that will work for you. The more fluid you are with your schedule, the less things you're able to fit in your schedule. So it's best to find an avenue in which you can create a very strict schedule and that will work for you. And the third thing you need to understand about acing the bar exam is that the bar exam is about sacrifice. It's all about sacrifice. You're going to have to sacrifice time with your friends, with your family, with your significant other, and sacrifice time in doing things you like to do on social media. Some people went off social media cold turkey. Back then I was on Facebook, now I'm not, and Facebook did not have a strong hold on me as much as Instagram or YouTube does now, thankfully. So I was able to wean myself off of Facebook, but I also didn't really go out with friends. I didn't have time to do anything. I was just focused on the bar exam, knowing fully well that I had no choice but to pass it because I took out a bar loan to cover my expenses during that time, because you're no longer in school and you're not working yet. So there is this weird period of time that you have to pay your bills, and how are you going to do that? I had to take out a loan, and if I'm taking out a loan, I had to make sure that I was going to get my best return by virtue of sacrificing a lot so I can have the time to focus on studying for the bar exam. So understand that. Heck, when I was studying for the bar exam, there was a time that when it was getting closer to the bar exam period, I couldn't do laundry because I didn't have the time to get all my stuff together and go do laundry. What I did, I just went to Victoria's Secret probably twice or 3 times actually, and got like 7 for $25 underwear and just wore that for a week. That's precisely what I did. They had a semi-annual sale. I got 7 pieces of underwear for $25 or less. Probably had a gift card or a coupon that I combined, and that's what I used. I didn't have time for it. I didn't have time. I ordered out a lot. Maybe I would cook on the weekends just so I can have stuff for the day, but I didn't have time to make gourmet meals. You have to sacrifice a lot. Sacrifice a lot so you can focus more on studying, resting, and exercising. And that brings me to my next point. Exercise for mental clarity. You don't understand the effect of exercise until you're actually in a very stressful period. I was living in the Upper East Side at that time, so I used to run by the East River every morning. Now, don't get me wrong, at that point in time I was already skinny. I was like 119 pounds. I was stressed out of my mind, so I technically did not need to work out. But the fact that I was working out, I was running, I was doing stretches and doing all that stuff, helped give me the mental clarity, helped reduce the amount of stress that I was carrying on my back, helped make me retain information more, helped me sleep better, helped me handle the stress that I was dealing with regard to job applications and studying for the bar exam at that time. So be sure to include into your schedule an exercise routine that help bolster your mental clarity and just make everything work better for you. The next tip I'll ask you to embody is the fact that you should understand that there's no time left behind. What do I mean by this? Every single moment that you're not doing something, you should be studying for the bar exam. So if you're on the train and you're sitting on the train, you should be reviewing answers to questions or reviews from the bar instructors. Barbary provides that for you. I remember in the books they have sample answers which you can compare to your answers and see what you did wrong and see what you did right. That's if you're sitting down on the train. If you're not sitting down on the train, if you're standing, then what I did was I had an app on my phone that had questions, and it would randomly pull questions from different topics. One question from criminal law, one question from property law, one question from contracts, another one from torts, another one from family law. So it'll bring everything together. And at that point in time, I'm standing, I had a 25-minute train ride, I'm still scrolling through my phone. Scrolling through my phone and answering questions, precisely what I'm doing. I'm getting dressed, I'm getting my hair done. What do I do at that point in time if I'm at home and getting dressed? I have this key combination on my laptop. I can't remember it right now, but you can highlight a certain portion of an essay or whatever and use the key combination to activate voice control. That way it reads essay back to you. Does that make sense? So basically you're doing your work and then you're hearing someone reading back an essay to you. That way you're retaining information, you're retaining your notes. It's on and on, it's on and on while you're doing your hair. If you drive, I would say listen to some audiobooks. Listen to some audiobooks on bar prep audiobooks, or you can do the same thing. Have the same mechanism on your cell phone or on your laptop. Just make sure you're not looking at it while you're driving. That way you can listen to information and you can retain from an audible standpoint. And the sixth tip I'll discuss with you today is for you to diversify your studies. You can't just expect to sit down for 8 hours straight just studying questions. It doesn't work that way. You're going to get burnt out. What I did was a combination of so many things. I worked on index cards 1 minute, and then for 2 hours later I would outline, a different topic. 2 hours after that I would decide to, play an interactive game that Barbie provided that would help you study. It was kind of like a flow chart. An hour later I decide to do flow charts. Maybe an hour after that I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? I will review my essay questions. Maybe an hour after that I would do essay questions, and the next morning I'll take a timed test. So I did a lot of different things which helped me not get bored of the studying process, if you will. I was constantly challenging myself. I was constantly being challenged and using these different mechanisms which activated different trigger areas in my brain as far as studying. So I didn't get exhausted. I didn't get burnt out. It was one thing or the other. I would go to a classroom that was unoccupied and I would just write on the board. I would write on the board. I would write, outline the entire first half of crim law, talking about mental states, outlining contracts. I'm outlining offer, acceptance, and quasi-contract. Just basically making sure I have the core concept. It's all part of studying. And then when I'm on the train, I'm also flipping through index cards. I'm flipping through index cards. If I'm trying to get ready for class the next morning, I'm flipping through index cards. I'm writing index cards. I had a stack of index cards. So things like that will help you retain the information in ways that you not even expect, because you're diversifying your studying, and it will prevent you from being exhausted. And last tip is know that this too shall pass, and so shall you. You're not the first person in this situation, and you're not going to be the last. Every single attorney who's practicing law in the United States of America has had to go through the bar exam. Let that sink in for a minute. Let that resonate with you so you know that your struggles are not unique. People have been there, done that. And the people who've passed it, like we say in Nigeria, they didn't have 5 heads. They did not have 10 heads. They have the same mental capacity as you. So if they can do it, if I can do it, you definitely can. Now, some people may have to take the bar exam multiple times, 2 times or 3 times. I understand that. Sometimes people just don't pass, and they expect to pass, or they have whatever familial issues that may set them back. However, that does not have to be your case. I believe that if you embody these principles, you exercise, you use your time wisely, you diversify your studies, you sacrifice time with your friends, your family members. Who has time for Sunday dinners when you're studying for the bar exam? You should be resting or exercising or studying. That's about it. If you're not doing any one of those 3 activities, then you're probably setting yourself up for a second bar, preparation period, and you really don't want to do that to yourself. Trust me, you don't. So if you manage your time wisely, and you know that this 10 weeks is a short period of your life, it's just a snippet of your life that will pass, and you too shall pass, don't worry much about it. Just know that this is what that needs to be done. Trust in yourself, believe in yourself, embody the principles that I expressed to you earlier in this video, and you surely shall excel. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you do like this video, be sure to give it a nice, huge, resounding thumbs up, and good luck to all my future attorneys studying for the bar exam. It's not the best time in your life right now, I understand that. However, it is a time you will remember. It's a time to make sure that the sacrifice you're putting in right now is going to be worth it in the long run. I believe in you, and I trust that you are going to definitely ace it. So thanks again for watching my video, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Thanks, guys.